Hey everybody, and welcome to Death By, where contestants will earn reps for their arguments for a chance to stand on top of the podium. I am your host, Lauren Kalil. Whoever I decide has the best argument through the final round will earn 30 extra seconds to talk about a topic of their choosing. On today's episode, we have Chief Executive at HWPO, Matt O'Keefe, CrossFit analyst Chase Ingraham with Get With The Programming, and oh man, the smack talk has already begun. And head coach of Underdogs Athletics, Justin Cotler. Yeah, no. We specifically have brought this group together because these are the biggest smack talkers on the block. Do you guys agree?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you put out publicly. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on before we get on the floor.
True.
I'm always looking at that record button. I'm like,
yeah. Is that thing on?
Is that thing on? I mean, just so the viewers know, we're good. Like we let Chase get his hair ready, like get everything, his makeup on. So we're a little late to start, but we're here. We're good.
Yep, I'm ready to go overtime.
See how that's naturally worked in my favor? It's on your mind now.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh my gosh.
We got the stopwatches ready on the side.
Posting.
All the smack talk
is a big bully.
Do you guys want me to send you some hats? I can do that.
Oh, nice.
All right, guys, here we go. Let's play Death By. Topic 1. By now, I imagine that everybody listening and watching has heard about Roman Krenikov's claims that Jeffrey Adler was being unsportsmanlike, specifically during the 5K at the games, and saying during interviews that his goal was to get into Roman's head. In a recent interview, Roman stated that he reached out to the games judging staff to report the incident, and since nothing was done, he took to his own social media platform to state his concerns. So, when does smack talk become unsportsmanlike conduct, and where is that line? Chase, we're not going to let you go first because we had to reschedule for you, but we will let Matt O'Keefe begin with this one.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I played sports in college, and it was a big part of anything I was ever a part of. And I think that line is like how personal it probably gets. I think a lot of people from the outside, maybe that haven't been on a field of play like that, would wonder why is that important. There's always some gamesmanship that goes on like that. I think it is fascinating to me in the fitness realm that people have the ability to talk crap while they're moving so fast at such high intensity. But honestly, there's a fun part to that. I think it's like, if you can get your competitor out of their comfort zone over something that you say, I think the competitor probably should look at it like, I need to figure out how to not get wound up so easily and tight like that. But I think when you're talking about a line, there's places you don't go. We're talking about people's, siblings, families, wives, like which I know, many in basketball, football are willing to do. I just think that's too much. But I think there's a fun element too. It creates, some friction that I think is a great storyline. And honestly, if it gets you out of your comfort zone as a competitor, I think you have to ask yourself why, because it shouldn't. Honestly, it's like, just talk. Honestly, it should just hurt the person that's doing it if they feel like they need to do that, right? Nobody should own anybody through their words. It's their actions, right? So, there's a line, when it gets too personal, but and putting hands on people, I think, would be one. Like, you shouldn't touch somebody else in a non-contact sport, but it's a part of the game, and I honestly think it could be a fun part of the game if it's done right.
4 points for Matt O'Keefe with a strong start. Okay, Justin Cotler, you're up next.
In the immortal words of Harry Hogg from one of the greatest films ever made, Days of Thunder, rubbing is racing, baby. And in my opinion, I love it. I love every part of it. The only thing that I think we need to be careful of is making sure no one is crossing the line as far as safety is concerned. If you're putting a competitor in jeopardy safety-wise, then I think that's crossing the line. But smack talk, I played college basketball and I know all of us played college sports. Chase played swimming. so I don't know if that's necessarily a sport, but we but in general, you know, I mean, I've seen a little bit of smack talk in the pool too, right? Like I remember the Aussies and the Americans getting after
water
it.
to the face goes a long
All
way.
right. So, but in general, I'm a big fan of smack talk. I love it. I think again, it's one of those things that we can do in CrossFit to just kind of make this thing a little bit more dramatic and a little more fun. And you know, I got absolutely no problem with it whatsoever, unless you're crossing the line and you're putting someone else in jeopardy safety wise. But I love it.
You just referenced the movie that I use once a day.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and most people look at me cross-eyed. They're like, "What's Days
One of the best films of all time. That's right.
What movie is it?
Days of
Days
Thunder.
of Thunder. Exactly.
Don't
Oh
tell me.
my gosh.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just gave you
Sean.
took 5 points off you, Lauren. That's it.
Yeah.
5 points off.
Top Gun and a race
Oh
car.
my gosh.
Okay, I've seen Top Gun, so we're good there.
Go and look and watch Days of Thunder. Come on.
Okay, I'll put it on my nice long list of movies that I still have not seen. But I will give you 5 points for that answer because it was fun,
answer.
and I know
agree
that
with
Sean
that.
and Tommy are also going to love that you gave a movie reference. So 5 points for Justin Cotler. Chase Ingraham here on the opposite week. You're normally not on this episode with these guests. Let's see how you can defend your answer here.
Listen, as the only one that played sports during color TV on this panel, I think the reference as someone who was born in the 80s and grew up playing sports in the 90s, trash talk was the most fun part of doing sports. And the best trash talk was like rec leagues after you retired from being an athlete in the local, city sports flag football game. And I love that about sports as a way to get someone off their game, because as Matt said perfectly, is that what I say to you with my words should elicit no response or no reaction emotionally. And if it does, the problem lies with you, as long as it's not personal beyond that person in front of your face. You shouldn't be going after other people's families or friends or anything like that. But if you want to dig at them for being something that they're not and just see how their reaction goes, that's on them. The thing that I have a problem with more than, say, trash talk is calling someone's actions unsportsmanlike when it's not. I think that's a very aggressive accusation. When calling someone dirty when they're not publicly, I think is worse than a trash talk on the field of play, or bumping into somebody, say, in the field of play when it's a run, when that is just part of the game, right? So that's where I have a problem with this unsportsmanlike conduct accusations. Is actually I have a problem with the opposite thing. Trash talk, absolutely love it. Part of the game. Is that something that you necessarily need to do to become a competitive athlete or get an edge? No. Actions speak louder than words for a reason. At the same time, I think it's a part of all sport. And if you can't handle it on the receiving end, I think that's more to say about you than the person giving it to you.
Oh man, this is a hard episode to give points. Chase, I'm actually going to give you 6 for that because I thought that was a different take. Sean, what is going on with Lauren -5? What is that? What is that?
Sean obviously agrees.
I got to pop in here. The fact that
you
you just don't get the reference. I'm with Justin. That's
thank you.
as a producer, I'm going to give you -5
so good.
for that one.
I would love to hear more about, like, Roman's a great guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he is one of the best people I've been around. Honestly, he's such a sweet kid, and I'd love to know more about it. Like, they don't owe us anything really. Honestly, I wonder if there's more there we haven't heard or what. I did watch the episode where he tried to explain, and I didn't hear anything, but
What I gleaned from that was it looked like a lot of like literal lost in translation, and just maybe like unfamiliarity with something like that, right?
Likely.
And where with maybe not having as much experience with sports growing up.
Yes.
I
Could be
also think it could be cultural, right? I
background.
mean, Americans love to talk. You know what I mean? Let's be
Just look at
honest.
the panel right here.
It's true.
Apparently Canadians do too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, look at Vellner and Fikowski and the things that they drum up every year. They're fun with each other, but like
right.
it's
I'm not
part
sure
of
what the
are
smack talk culture is like in Russia. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure. And so ultimately but I also think there were a couple things there that he said that if true, I mean, I gotta give Adler some credit. I mean, if he actually learned a few Russian words,
Right?
like I think that's
What?
awesome.
What a
I
gangster
think
move.
it's fantastic. I think if he actually
That
did
is-
that is phenomenal stuff. Like if you all of a sudden learn like "come on" in Russian, like "let's go" in Russian, dude, kudos to you. That's pretty
Pat
good.
is one of the like legends of trash talk, So,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
don't know, like not as much on the floor, but like pre-games and
Oh,
like using his social,
Yeah.
he's good at it.
Yeah, I love it. I'd like to see more, honestly.
At the end of round number 1, we have 654 Chase, Justin, O'Keefe. Still anybody's game, though. I think this is going to be a tight race between this group. I think Cotler got 10 random points last week, so you never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
Still a chance.
Still a chance.
We got a chance.
And there's a chance.
On to topic number 2. It is a topic that we've discussed before here on Death By, whether games athletes should get pro cards. But here's something a little bit different. What if it came with the condition that games athletes would compete in more off-season, in-person competitions? Could this be a solution to help grow the sport and some head-to-head battles even? We will let Chase start this round.
Ooh, I love the pro car concept for the off season of the CrossFit Games. I would love to see part of the CrossFit Games is getting that pro card. Maybe at the end of the season, the top 10, maybe top 15 at the CrossFit Games, maybe extend it all the way to top 20 for the final cut for some drama's sake. Those 20 get an off-season pro card. And in the off-season, we create a more structured off-season, say, competition tournament, the big 5 that you really think of. Madrid could be one of those, Dubai, Rogue, Wadapalooza again coming up soon. And that pro card could go to maybe getting invites to those things or an automatic payout if you compete in this. And then a leaderboard at the end of the off season, some type of triple crown thing has been talked about over the season where the game season sets you up for the off season. And now we have this year-round competition that can end with its own worldwide competition, say like you see in golf tournaments or even NASCAR. I know we just referenced at the end of the season where there could be something for both parts.
Is this something that would be run by CrossFit or somebody else?
There needs to, if we want to do something off season, there needs to be an overall governing body for these off season competitions, whether that's the CrossFit Games team for the season, and maybe something like the PFAA could come into play and maybe oversee and manage the off season. But we have 2 governing bodies working together for each other from in season. I don't want to say off season as if it's something not as grand, because it could just be as exciting as the other.
I like that. 5 points for you, Chase. Matt O'Keefe, you're next.
Yeah, in some ways it already exists depending on the event, right? There are certain events that operate off of results at the CrossFit Games. Wadapalooza, I was a part of that. Everybody that was a games athlete got invited. Rogue, I think it's the top 15. I think what we're speaking to here is something that, incentivizes athletes to participate more, which is a point system, is an actual season, a calendar season, layering importance on events that mean something greater, which, yes, we need to, I believe that will happen. I think, that's something that, has been in the works conversational for such a long time. And I believe in where we're going and the leadership team at this point in regards to that, right? So, a pro card is a little bit ambiguous at this point. Some value higher finishes. There's no consistency on it. But I do believe people's games results open doors for them at this point, which is really cool. So I don't think we're absent this, but I do think we're absent a season, which I think everybody, including CrossFit, would agree on, which would be really fun to be able to tell a more contiguous 12-month story. So I'm psyched for that, and I'm here for that.
I like that. 3 points for Matt O'Keefe. And last but not least, Justin Cotler. What are your thoughts on this one?
So I'm going to take a little bit of both of those, but disagree a little bit with Chase in the sense that I think the problem with a pro card where we're including off-season events is that now we don't have an off-season. And I think that's one of the big issues with the sport is we need to have, like O'Keefe said, we need to have a definitive season. And I think we need to figure out how to work some of these big events into the season. Now, whether that creates more of a Triple Crown or a Grand Slam, as opposed to, say, one big event like the CrossFit Games, that, that may be the future. Ultimately, what I want is I want there to be a definitive season. I'm fine with pro cards. I'm fine with points. I'm fine with something like the FedEx Cup. But what I'd like to see is a definitive offseason where we can give these athletes some downtime mentally and physically. Because if we're looking for the longevity of these athletes' careers, we need to build in an offseason, and we need to try to protect them the best that we can, because we all know how difficult this sport is. And if we just run them into the ground during the season and then in the off season with 4 or 5 big events, we're going to cut the shelf life on these athletes immensely. So I'd like to see there be a definitive season. We create that pro card for that season, but then we create a definitive off season.
Would it then make sense to have specific athletes that maybe have a head-to-head battle? Like you look at the Ricky Roman or even the Jeff Roman Ricky combination and make sure that they are committing to the same competitions, and then
That's
the other
That's
people?
what I think you're talking. I think that's what, and Justin's referencing that is, I think the hardest part right now is like, there are certain people that go hard in the off season. There's certain that not. Like, who's at the advantage? We don't know. But the more structure that says you have to, or, then even levels the playing field at that point, right? So it's just like one of those things where some people need to earn, and like that's how they earn is in the off season, because they're, they have better chance then because maybe some people are absent. But like, I think it'd be like, I think it's precisely what Justin's saying, and I agree with it. It's just like, the more structure there is to this is what it means to be a pro athlete, the better for everybody, the fans involved and the athletes, and I think they all would agree to compete a little more, honestly, if you're asking them, if it meant something that they were all doing.
I think if you look at the tennis tour as a very good, it's a great model in the sense that you see that there are some events that during the year, right? Like take someone like Novak Djokovic. He's going to revolve his schedule around those big events. Now, not all of them are Grand Slam events. There's one in Cincinnati, there's one in Dubai, there's one in Miami, but then he's playing the Grand Slams. Now, I would argue that, and I don't mean to offend anyone who plays tennis. I would argue that our sport is a little more destructive in the sense that, probably doing 8 competitions hard in a 6-month span is probably not realistic. Sure. But if you've got these events, right, that pay a lot of money, that offer points towards some type of reward at the end of the season, trust me, people are going to show up. And then if you've got slightly lower tier events where people can gain points to be able to eventually, qualify for a bigger event, then that's awesome for that next, say, 20 to 50 in the world or 50 to 100 in the world. And you've got this feeder system into the bigger events. I just think that it's something that we need to take a look at. O'Keefe has talked ad nauseum about it, and we talked about it at the PFAA, about having a definitive season. And I really think that ultimately we need to take a big look at it. And I do think we need to restructure everything. I think everything needs to be on the table when it comes to a season.
To just add on to that is Justin's 100% right. These athletes need an off season, and to take full ownership of how hard it is to be a CrossFit Games athlete. In my opinion, it is the hardest sport to train for consecutively year in and year out than any sport on the planet. What these athletes have to do to train to be good competitively is insane. No other sport needs to put that much volume and work in, and strength and intensity and work capacity and development gymnastics than, say, any other sport. There's skill development with tennis, and that's just hitting balls into the court. There's so many, and not to just tennis as an example, any sport. Right? Going to the basketball gym and shoot hoops for 3 hours by yourself to work on your jump shot is not the same thing as getting into the squat rack for an hour and a half to work on your back squat, to get on top of the rings to make sure your volume capacity for gymnastics is there, and then sit on the rower to make sure that your VO2 max is getting higher. Like, there's nothing like it. But to the season structure itself, if we can define a season year in and year out, dates, schedules, system, we can package that system and give it to ESPN or CBS or Netflix. and you guys say this at your last time, is that now we can take something with consistency, package it, cover it, and now the media side will up that professionalization of the sport on top of something like this pro card.
Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Great conversation. Justin Cotler, I'm going to give you 6 points for your answer.
I'm starting to feel the vendetta against him. He literally piggybacks my argument. I get half the points.
He's like, you just say disagree with Chase and you get 3 points automatically.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. I forgot.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Matt
Or
O'Keefe,
answer
we
the
have one
question,
more
and then
round.
you get 3 points as well. I've seen that work with other people on this show.
See, Chase is now trying to get into my head like he thinks there's a system for this.
Listen, it's not, no, never mind. I'm going to set myself up for failure on that one.
I'm listening. We have one round to go.
You're a beneficiary of the system, Chase.
I'm doing good so far, so I'm not trying to get in your head.
He's not trying to dig himself into a hole quite yet. We are headed now into round number 3. So last weekend, speaking of off-season competitions, the Madrid Championship took place. And for the first time, we saw Chandler Smith and Noah Olson not competing as individuals, but now competing on a team. Los Niños, they had Lena Richter and Sydney Mikulishin also on their team. The team, they were able to rack in all podium finishes with 4 first places, 2 seconds, and 1 third, winning first overall by more than 100 points. Is the Chandler-Noah combo going to be the next dominant team in CrossFit? Matt O'Keefe, I'm going to let you decide. Do you want to go first or last in this round?
Ooh.
I'll go first. Whatever. Let's do this.
Let's be honest, it's not going to matter. But you can go.
It doesn't. You can give me some
never
points on the
know.
backside when they both say they agree with me.
Oh,
okay?
you're just going to laugh like an 80-year-old
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, I mean, but the answer is we don't know. I mean, there's so many examples of this in our history of like great individual athletes coming together to put a team together and not succeeding. Last year we saw one. I mean, by the way, I tread lightly on that. Like, what is success to those groups is the answer. I don't think that group was looking to do anything but win and didn't, right? So it's both Chandler and Noah are great, individually accomplished athletes. Noah's been around forever. Chandler's coming to his own. It's awesome. I'm actually a little disappointed Chandler isn't going to go individually. Seems to have unlocked it this year. It comes down to people being able to work as a team real well. So how do their personalities line up with that? The female side of it's another unanswered question at this point. Are those the two they're going with? I don't know. You can't watch Madrid and say, damn, they're like going to be the best team. That's a different field. I don't know. We'll see. Like, I do know that those two have had quite a bit of success at Wodapalooza, which points towards they get it, and they really love each other, which I'm a team sports guy. That's a big component, culture. And, they are, really bought into the same things and jokes, and they get along like famously. So I think it's then finding the right components on the female side that are aligned with that. That's almost more important sometimes than the physical attributes. It's like, do you love each other? Are you willing to die for each other? That's how teams work. And so we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be fun to watch. It'll be a great storyline. I hope there's other teams like them that come in so that we can like see a bit of a battle. Because I think if you just put them on paper and right now, I'd say they're probably the leader in the clubhouse. And hopefully that pisses somebody off. So it's a battle and people talk smack. Back to the first question. But yeah, I don't know. They won Wodapalooza with Travis. They've had a lot of success there, and that Noah would die to win Wodapalooza, which is so cool. It's his home. And I feel like it'll be the same with this. The two of them are pretty aligned. Yeah, I think they'll be good. I just don't know. Will they win? This year should prove it doesn't matter how good you guys are. There's more components to it than just physical.
Matt O'Keefe, you won me over when you said that there needs to be love on the team. So I'm going to give you 7 points for that.
Oh, wow.
Strong.
Bringing it into the love.
Very strong.
Justin Cotler, I'll let you take a stab at this one.
Sure. The fact that O'Keefe kind of sat on the fence there and didn't give us an answer and got 7 points is a little concerning. But
I told you 3 points. 3 points for sitting on the fence.
this played it safe and got 7 points. It's interesting. I'm not going to play it safe, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. And I love Chandler and Noah as athletes and as people. One, I don't think we know whether or not they're going to go team during the CrossFit season. I think they did this for Madrid, and I think there's still a question as to whether or not they'll be a team. But even more important than that, and for anyone who's ever coached a team before, which I have, I will tell you right now, what's more important than the Chandler-Noah combo is the female combo that will be with them or with whomever. At the end of the day, you win teams because of how good your women are. And I know that may upset some men, but that's the deal. At the end of the day, it's how good the female pair is. Now, yes, you have to have camaraderie, and you have to have, like O'Keefe said, you have to have love without question. I've coached teams that have been incredibly, incredibly talented who did not get along and did not do well. And I've coached teams that weren't nearly as talented, that loved each other and did incredibly well. But at the end of the day, we were only as good as our female pair was. And in my opinion, that's what's going to define who wins the CrossFit Games.
I award you 4 points, Justin Cotler.
Oh, man.
I have coached a team.
That's true.
You can't argue with that. You've had a lot of success coaching teams, so kudos to you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, Chase, what do you have for us here?
Is the Noah Chandler combo going to win the next or be the next CrossFit dominant team? Is there a 2-person team I am unaware of just men? The answer with Justin Cotler is that no, unless they have a female pair that can match up with them. But different than what Justin said is like, yes, traditionally it really has come down to the females. We've seen that over the years with Taylor and Andrea. But if you look at just that, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win. Look at what they did at OC3. They couldn't crack into the top of the podium, so they went to CrossFit Mayhem. Then they had success. Of course, that doesn't hurt to have Rich Froning on your team for all those years. And then they went to last year to Proven, and they didn't win. So was it really just about the women anymore? If that was the case, Oslo Navy Blue would probably have a championship right now. So it's not just about the women, but it also isn't just about the men. What it is about is their ability to work together, not just as a team. It's a team competition. That's an obvious. It's mixed pairs. Mixed pairs at the CrossFit Games has risen its head more times than not when it comes to programming teams at the CrossFit Games. So it's great that Noah and Chandler are bros and they love each other, and I like that relationship, and that makes them a strong duo. But rarely is it just the men or just the women. It's how they mix up and match up, but not just how the strength of the two women are, but how they are mixed together as one team unit. That's where we're going to see how good they're going to be at the CrossFit Games.
You crapped on my question a little bit at the beginning, but I'm still going to give you 6 points because I do think that you had some good meat in your answer.
It's called negging.
Can you give me what the formula is for this? I mean, this is... By the way, here, let me help you two down there below. Is like you can say exactly what I said, which is exactly what you two said, without being direct and getting side text messages from Noah saying what are you talking smack about for, by saying anyway, whatever. Hey, I'll just keep coming with my goose eggs.
Hey, listen, you're perfect.
That's right.
That's
perfectly
right?
unperfect.
I know how imperfect I am on a daily basis. Trust me, with all the things I have going on. So trust me, this is
all
perfect
right.
for me.
Chase, you got another W in the can. What is your podium pedestal for today?
I'm going to do Justin a favor because I knew I was going to whoop his ass today, but I want to bring in his 30 seconds. And dear CrossFit Games, let us know where the games are going to be next year. Please. Let us know. We want to know. We want to know where we're going. I want to know where to book my flight, to get my hotel, and get that rental car that they're going to give away, as well as my seat, because they overbooked, but I'm still going to be happy because I'm there, as long as you tell me where I'm supposed to go. Please let us know where the CrossFit Games are going to be.
A little
That's
PSA
literally
for
the
everyone.
first time in your history that you've stayed within the time limit.
Yeah. There's no doubt I would have won this thing if Lauren knew what the hell Days of Thunder was. That's all I have to say. I lost this because she hasn't watched Days of Thunder. That's it. And
Yeah,
Days of Thunder,
You got
is
to know
that like
which
a
movies
I
I
thought that
have
was going to
seen.
be like a 10-point answer. I was like, oh man, no one's
Isn't
going to
it
say
best where
this.
you're like-
This is going to smash it. Everyone, she's like, what's Days of Thunder? I don't even know. Oh my god.
Know your audience. Know your
Oh.
audience,
Oh my
Justin.
gosh.
I use that often with, if you're talking to like an athlete, it's be like, all right,
You're a
you ran
sports
50 laps,
analyst. You're
50
supposed to
laps
know
your
these
way.
things.
Now you're going to
I
run 50
don't watch
laps our way.
movies
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
love
or
it.
TV shows. I don't really watch things besides CrossFit
What's the most quotable movie?
and Harry Potter.
Dumb and Dumber is probably the most quoted movie.
That's
if
the
we're being
worst
real.
movie I've ever seen.
You know what's an underrated one? Tombstone.
Great film. Oh my gosh.
Very good. Very
Like
good.
every other scene, I'm like, damn.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Lauren's writing these
It's so
down. What is
good.
Tombstone?
It's so
You're gonna
good.
do something, or you're just gonna stand there and bleed. I was like, bro,
Oh, it's so good.
how about shit talking?
Yeah. Oh, Val Kilmer is just the best. Yeah, it's so good.
Oh,
All right, Lauren. These are all films you haven't seen.
Lauren, I had to subtract another 5 points from your total.
Thank you very much. It's
Oh,
minus
Calling
10.
Dumb
Thank
and
you.
Dumber
on.
the worst movie ever. That's a
I
bad
mean,
take.
for real.
That is
I have a
bad
hot
Lauren,
take.
take.
I
I do not like Jim
I have an
Carrey.
idea.
I think
I
he's
don't
dumb
either,
but
but that's a
funny.
good movie.
Jeez.
Yes,
I
Matt?
feel like we should throw Lauren into the fold one of these weeks.
oh yes.
I will be the scorekeeper. and
Should we
you-
The
change
moderator?
hosts?
You'll be the moderator? Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
I'll be the-
Oh, I would
Wow.
love that.
That's
Yeah.
so
That
good.
could be fun. We
Honestly,
could change
Lauren-
roles.
Versus Nikki. Versus Jason.
Oh,
Kalil.
that's perfect. I love that.
We will start planning it. Mark your calendars.
Justin, my beard's looking more and more like yours every day, man.
It looks good, bro. Getting there.
Getting white.
You're seeing a little more white, dude. That's all.
Give me 5 years,
this
I'll
is-
be there. I've got the.
This is Matt Fraser. Right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is this is
Oh,
Mallory. a
man,
little
I was about to
Patrick.
say something. I'm not even going to go where I was about to go. I'm
Oh.
going to leave it alone. I'll go there off the air.
I'm to hit end.
Yeah.
Hit end recording before that gets explained.
Yeah.
all right. Well,
Yeah, man.
Chase, Justin, and Matt, thank you so much for being here for another game of Death by. So much fun. Always a ton of insight. Even though Matt O'Keefe is the loser of the group, that's okay. We still love having him.
Wow.
Lovable loser.
I'm winning life. I'm winning life.
Lovable. Yes. We hope to see you
Awesome.
guys next time. Find us on Instagram and YouTube. And until then, we'll see you next time.